All right, you guys ready? We've had
Sure, yeah.
we have time to be ready, and if you're not ready, well, you better jump on because we're going.
I'm
Hi.
good.
Oh
I'm
no!
oh,
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. My name's Adrian,
And I'm Alex.
and today we have a special guest. Special guest, introduce yourself.
hey, I'm Kelsey Dionne from the Arcane Library.
Yay.
Clap, 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 clap. Yes. Kelsey, I've used some of your your modules, and I've had some great success. Some stuff I've had where it's like everyone's on their like last leg and everything, but they managed to pull through. That one's just like a dice thing near the end, but it's still such a nice balance. So I really enjoy using your modules.
Thank you. That's really good to hear. I've been accused of writing really hard fights, and I'm like, yes, I do.
No, it's okay. I have the opposite problem where I just narrate very like soft fights.
Aw, but those
Like
are good. You need balance, you know.
yeah, but okay, so Alex knows that I haven't
Yeah.
killed a PC yet. It's not like it's
Nope.
my goal to kill a PC, but I just feel bad, and then when they kick my ass, I'm like, and then I get angry, and I'm gonna throw something big at them next time, and it's just this weird like feeling of maybe not pushing their potential enough, but hopefully this next fight that I have in this upcoming week changes that.
Yes. That's always hard because like I don't think I know any DMs who like actively want to off the players, but it's such a hard balance because you try to get as close as you can to killing them without killing them, and then if you do, you feel so bad, you know.
Yes, exactly. The reason why I wanted to bring you on was because I watched one of your videos talking about minimalist DM set and like what you bring to the table essentially. And I thought that was really cool. It's very different to what I bring to the table, which is mostly just like imagination, but a crap ton of books and pens and pencils.
Yes.
But yeah, could you speak a little bit more on that? And also, yeah, I'm not going to load the questions like I usually do. I need to learn to not do that, right, Alex?
Adrian is learning. Adrian has leveled up to level 3 podcaster.
Yes. You get a new class feature now.
Yes.
No.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Oh man.
The ability to remove ums on his
My editing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, is that what you get at level 3? I have to achieve that then because it's my biggest problem.
It's a daily
Um,
task, okay?
It's tough. I think that it's funny because when you're speaking naturally with people and you're not really thinking about it too hard, that's when those things all start to come out. And so there's the positive and negative side. But um, speaking of to answer your question about minimalism, I have a little bag of stuff that I bring to my games that the reason I made it initially was because I was getting really mad having to carry so many books around in my bag when I was going to games. And I sort of realized that I could downsize, and then it became sort of an experiment of how far can I downsize and still get away with running the game without it interrupting what I'm trying to do. And the farther I went into that, the more I realized that there's really very little that I need to bring to the table. And it was kind of a refreshing thing to experience where, I thought I needed, like, I actually had a bunch of Dwarven Forge at one point, like 3D terrain. And I thought I needed that to get my players immersed in the game. And I hauled that like a suitcase full of Dwarven Forge over to my friend's house. And once I kind of let that go, I realized that we still all had the same images in our mind of what happened at the game. And that sort of hooked me on reducing what I was using down to bare metal. That's my story.
Nice. Awesome.
How did you figure that out? Like what was your process of like, what do I not need?
Yeah, so it was definitely it was sort of cherry picking here and there. Like, do I really need a DM screen? I'm gonna try it without one this week. And so I would usually pick one item to try to really downsize or even go without in some cases. And to be fair, sometimes my plan did not work. I discovered that I really do enjoy having some kind of minis, for example, to represent monsters and characters. Like I was trying, like, could we use like dice or little generic looking tokens? And you know, this is just me and my group, but we all agreed that we liked using some kind of representative looking token. In trying each specific thing, I sort of came to a conclusion. I calibrated what was best for me and my group, usually too far at first, and then pulled it in a little bit till we were at a spot where we liked with, you know, amount of dice or minis or what kind of battle map, things like that.
How long have you been with that group? Because I feel like it was a process to kind of start eliminating everything, kind of thing, and figure out what did and needed to stay.
Yeah, these folks, I'm not always running the exact same group of people, but there's usually one or two core people that carry through from game to game. So this was a group of people who I was actually running through Curse of Strahd for 5th edition about 5 years ago. Yeah.
Drinks.
So I was
Sorry, a running joke on the podcast. I cannot get away from
Sorry.
saying Curse of Strahd. So I was trying my best
Oh,
this
no.
session, and it just naturally
He
comes
did.
up.
He didn't say anything about the campaign he's running, but right now he's running Curse of Strahd. So I was going to let it go and not call it out there, but thank you, Kelsey, for allowing me this moment to make fun of Adrian.
Yes.
Sorry.
Glad to oblige. But see, Curse of Strahd, I love that campaign. It's definitely my favorite 5e campaign for, I mean, I don't know if you guys have run any of the other pre-made campaigns from WotC, but I keep coming back to Curse of Strahd both as a player and a DM. I've played through it completely, I think once, and I've run it in completion twice. So
Nice. That's awesome. So I've ran Dragon Heist. I started Dragon Heist like 3 or 4 times, and I finally completed it once. And then same with Strahd. I've started it 3 or 4 times, and am currently kind of 6th level. They're figuring out, oh, things are actually really bad here. And those are the 2 I've kind of run through, I guess, religiously. I just bought the new one that came out, the Frost Maiden something or other.
oh yeah, right, yep.
Yeah.
Rime of the Frost Maiden, I think.
Yes, but I'm holding myself back because I need to finish this first, and I need to be true to my players. Otherwise, I'm just gonna get tangled up in my all the books that I have. But yeah,
No.
those are the only 2 I've kind of played through with 5e, at least modules that have come out.
Yeah, it's funny because they kind of come out a little bit faster than you can get through them usually. So
Seriously.
you kind of get a backlog then. So
But yeah, it seems like okay. I'm gonna just talk about it, Alex. There's no way of holding me back.
No, Adrian.
No,
you are
what?
not. No.
But
You
it's such-
can't cherry pick everybody else's ideas to add to your campaign.
Well, I can't do some of them because I've already passed some spots. I'm not cherry picking ideas anymore. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that everyone's had this kind of experience with this one campaign. I don't know what it is about, like, oh man, vampire's badass, I want in. That everyone
Yes.
has that feeling towards. And I mean, for the most part, everyone that we've talked to has either played or DM'd that module. And it has something to say. That's the only one that's been kind of like remastered and everything, which my friend got the revamped version. And there's some cool stuff in it. And I'm like,
ooh.
I want it bad, but also like I don't need it because I already have it.
I know, and it comes in that coffin-shaped box. I mean,
Yes.
it looks so cool. It really does. It looks so cool.
It's an easy mantle place kind of thing for the nerds in your
Yeah.
life.
There's nothing like a coffin that's gonna get your inner nerd going. That's so funny, but it's so true. I have to add on to what you said. It's so true. I actually ask almost every person I come across at some point who buys something from me what their favorite campaign is, because it's honestly so interesting to hear, or what their favorite adventure is.
hmm
And I'm not even kidding. I've had thousands of people tell me, and at least a third of the people say that Curse of Strahd is their favorite. The margin on that being the favorite is just 3 laps ahead of everybody else. So I think it's fascinating. People just love it.
Do you have like a Word doc where you like see what they have to kind of calculate, or you just like asking like, oh, that's crazy?
I should have made it more of a data type thing, because I honestly just ask. Like, I usually will send out an email to people at some point and be like, hey, I love adventures and talking about them, and if you have a favorite adventure, please tell me what it is, because if it's your favorite there's got to be a reason, and then I'll want to scope it out or talk to them about it. And
Hmm.
I should have been officially keeping a tally, but I could go back one day and check. Maybe it'd take a long time, but it's Curse of Strahd comes up every third time I ask somebody, and this is for every adventure that they've ever, like, I'm not just saying like what's your favorite 5e adventure. I'm like, what is your favorite adventure of all time? And people say Curse of Strahd.
I'm gonna need that check from them to come our way on shameless promotion that just happened.
Where's our sponsorship?
Exactly. I'm going back onto your modules. I really loved how it wasn't just like, okay, here's their immense backstory, and now try to figure out how to put it in there. It was like, here's this bit of backstory, you can use it or not or whatever, but like you give out the bare bones, and it's up to the like DM to kind of flesh out what they need to do to keep their players interested. You give like 3 hooks to each of your adventures, and I think that, between what you deliver and the DM, it's easy to make a really good one-shot campaign or longer session campaign.
Thank you. That's great to hear. I'm always curious. I'm always curious if that helps people in the long run. And there's always the question of, did I not give enough? And is somebody going to feel like they were not supported enough through running the adventure? So thankfully, I haven't heard that being too much of a complaint. So I'm really happy to know that loosening up the amount of information actually makes it easier for the DM rather than harder in some cases.
It's as experienced as I was, because before, when I used to run campaigns, it was by the book, nothing else, no deviations, make sure this goes down, and that's how you play the game. And then eventually, slowly but surely, I was just like, this feels so restricting. I've played the Sunless Citadel like 5 times, and eventually I'm like, one, like, I know what's happening. Sometimes this doesn't make sense, so how do I make it make sense on my end so that the players don't like, this is confusing? And slowly but surely I loosened up how I played it, loosened up how adventurers kind of get there, and loosened up, the strictness of the dialogue, because like I'm reading the dialogue, like you only have 5 phrases to use, that's the information this guy got. So I'm like, well, you guys have a little bit more. I mean, they ask questions that aren't in the book, they only give you like 5 questions and 5 answers for this one character, and I'm like, he knows a little bit more, and here's what he knows, kind of thing. And it's not as static as it was. And I'll have a player who's like, that wasn't in the last time we played this. I'm like, yeah, that's because 1, I thought it was boring, so I just changed it. And 2, it'd be boring for you as well if I just did the same thing. And I wanted to be a little bit excited for that returning adventurer, essentially.
Yeah, and okay, Adrian, this is my question too. Do you feel like you've been able to sort of expand and be a little bit more improvisational, like as time has gone on and you've become? So I guess this goes in hand with, have you been DMing for a while, or did you see that as you had been DMing for longer and longer that became easier for you?
Okay, so as of like March, I started playing Curse of Strahd, and slowly but surely I started expanding what I expected of the game. Instead of just like, this is all these guys get, that's all they do, this guy cries and he lives or dies. And I changed those kind of stories into larger stories. So right now, my improvisation is getting so much better. I've been DMing for a long time now. I want to say since like sophomore in college, I was really into it. And then I kind of stepped away from it and then came back to it when I came back to college. But yeah, it's been a while. Sorry, long answer. Should have been shorter.
No, but this is good, because I think this agrees with this thing that I've noticed with DMs, is that the longer they go, I mean, the more comfortable they get with improvising, but then the more they want to feel like a participant who gets to make decisions and who doesn't know what's going to happen next sometimes. Because if you know everything right from the start and you're just going by the book as the DM, it loses a lot of the charm of finding out what's going to happen then.
Yeah, and part of me was like, I need to find out what else. So like right now, there's this like separate like Discord tab where it says lore, and I've been creating new lore that's not in the book that pertains to all the characters' actions, and like I want their actions to have consequences, and not just like, all right, you left that place and now it's frozen in a time capsule until you come back. It's going to be the same way as you left it.
Right.
So I've kind of moved some characters around. I've made people gain allegiances. So like the wolves and the witches, or what's left of either of those factions, kind of start teaming up and kind of like, okay, these guys are better than we thought. We need to work on something. So like I've slowly coalescing these like this evil team in the background because I think it'll make a better story if there's a reoccurring villain that's not only Strahd, who they finally are scared of, but his minions as well. It's not like they're just cannon fodder for them to just level up. They have motivations, they have wants, and they're going to try to stay alive through, back alley deals or deals with the devil as much as they can.
Nice. I love that. I love like keeping the world sort of spinning in the background so that when the players move around they feel like it's a real place. That's not easy to do as a DM. That takes actually concentrated effort.
Yeah, it's I don't know why I did it. I don't have concentration. I don't have a lot of concentration, but I have the idea and it just lives in my brain rent free.
No,
Oh, man.
I mean, I think that's a good idea, Adrian. I think you need to give yourself a little more props than you are, that you are growing as a storyteller. And one of those areas that I think is a really great way to show that is to maybe have another discourse of like what is happening outside. And, if your players are really involved and they want that extra step, they can read that and they can react and they can find ways to work with that. So you could start, spreading rumors, and you could start letting them know other things. And if they end up grabbing onto that bait, it just riches that story just ever so much more. And it doesn't just have to be like, cool, we're just like doing this and then like we're trying to kill Strahd eventually, but it actually becomes a story and becomes something that you can play in outside of the already listed events that you have in your module.
I really love that idea of a rumor tab. Because like it's sometimes I didn't think about it. I'm like, I should definitely like leak some of this out because there's eyes everywhere and there's people everywhere. So like maybe they see a passing ghost or a passing this or that. And it's sometimes hard to kind of like RP rumors because everyone's invested in like main characters or main side characters that are NPCs or discourse or kind of planning with each other. So I think that might be a good idea to kind of like stir the pot a little bit more than usual.
Rumors
Yeah,
don't have to be right either.
They don't.
That's so true. I mean, that's a big thing. Like from older modules, there was a lot of older adventures would begin with a rumor table where it would tell the DM which ones were true and which ones were false, and it would purposefully serve, potential false information. But it's because it like makes the world feel more real, and it gives the characters some line to pursue whether or not what it's saying is true. It still creates adventure. And so I always wondered why more modern adventures don't have more of that. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, the one that immediately comes up to my head is Kingmaker. That was just filled with rumors in the very back of the page and had little images of the monsters. I'm like, oh, this is so cool, and I just learned about it at the very end.
Oh no.
Yeah. But I think I need to start doing that, stirring the pot. I do love that idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a rumors table on something I write. Thanks, you guys. I'm gonna do it.
All right, bye.
Yeah, gotta go work. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
I'm trademarking it right now. Like that's it. Sorry about
Rumor
your life.
table TM.
I'm gonna write it down and email it to Adrian, and it's ours.
Oh man.
I think that talking about like going back to minimalism, because I kind of want to talk about what I've heard about it personally in the more like real life instead of basically just D&D. To talk about it more broadly. There we go. Those are the words that I want. So I've kind of seen it in action through my brother. He's trying to lower his waist, kind of like I think a couple months ago he was like had this one jar of all the waste he's had within the X amount of time. So he's been working on that. I, on the other hand, have I guess I'm not very conscious about those things, and have a lot of waste all the time. But I think it's an interesting practice, as well as what my brother said is it's all up to the essentially user or the person who identifies as like being minimalist. It depends on how they see minimalism in general. So it's not just like this cut and dry kind of explanation of, this is minimalist and this is what they do. It just depends on what they believe they can do and what their abilities are. That's, from what I've understood, that's the gist of minimalism. But yeah. And hopefully I can get a better understanding of it with a conversation with you.
Yeah, I love your brother's take on it, because I know there's sort of the concept of, I feel like sometimes people think minimalists all are the very same in what they do. And it's funny too, because I was much more a minimalist in real life than I was in D&D. And I realized that some of those ideas translated into D&D. So I actually came to minimalism and DMing perhaps last of all. But I think that the core thing that really drives it for people is you want to get value from everything that you use and do. And so it seems on its face that that's not too hard to achieve, because you're like, yeah, I mean, of course I choose to do the things I like to do, or I choose to use or buy the things that I want to use. But when you really inspect it, you realize that people accumulate stuff that they really don't intend to make use of, or they have 4 shirts, but they really only like wearing the one shirt. That one shirt is their favorite and they wish they had 10 of that one. And so I think that as long as you are trying to center your life around getting the most value possible out of the things that you use, that's really what minimalism is at the end of the day. And it's, like a case in point, my sister also is a minimalist in a lot of ways, but she has young kids. And so she's had to sort of come to this balance between how can I make less waste while at the same time not making my life a nightmare, but still trying to be conscious about making less waste with these kids who are in diapers. And so she's experimented with various things and kind of come to a good middle ground where she feels good about how she's handling that. And she's put thought and effort into it instead of just going with the, what might be the common practice for like diapers and like food and formula. Like she's thought about these things and tried to make the most effective process for herself that she can.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
What does your minimalism look like?
Oh, it's so funny. I at first I've been a minimalist for, maybe 5 or 7, probably around 7 good years of genuine minimalism. And it started with me wanting to reduce the amount of stuff that I owned. And that was where I really got my kickoff into minimalism, because I actually had to move. I had to move countries, and I looked at all my stuff and I was like, geez, how am I going to get all this stuff, across one country line to the other? Like and I realized I had this epiphany where I was like, I have way too much stuff. Like here's an entire drawer full of shirts that I've worn once. And, here are 14 books that I've read once and they've been collecting dust on my shelf for 5 years. And so I went through this sort of life overhaul because of having to move, and then realized I really liked the freedom that gave me. It's like, getting rid of things actually made me feel so unburdened that I wanted to translate that into more and more things in my life. So for me, it's like, you would laugh. I actually have like 10 of the same exact t-shirt because it's my favorite shirt. It's like this black, nice, black box cut t-shirt that's super comfy. And so I bought like 10 of them, and then I have like 4 other shirts with like wizards on them. And those are the shirts that I wear the majority of the year. So it's so funny. Like I really pared down my possessions in that way, and it stayed that way because I enjoy it so much.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
For me, it's the pixie pants from Old Navy. I could have them in every color, and those are the only pants that I would ever want to wear again. Just
right. So Alex, you should just do it. I'm like, you should just do it.
Yep.
Like no, but you can if you love them that much, and that's kind of a sign to you. Like maybe these are
these are the one pants. These are my
to
pants.
rule them all. Yeah.
Yeah, we are having this conversation while I'm sitting in my spare bedroom / craft room, and I'm looking around and feeling very attacked.
Attacked. It's not an attack. Chill, 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 chill.
Because it's okay. I'm really not. It's
I know.
the intent is there. It still makes me happy. I've, gone through the stuff that I don't need, right? I have a lot of fabric that honestly this year will be worked through as quilts or dice bags or whatever I feel like doing. So thanks 2021. We're going to get through this. We're going to do it. We're going to pull all the stuff and never replenish it again. Just like that's it. We're done. I had an actual thing to say. But yeah, I can absolutely agree where feeling like your possessions or belongings are really getting you down, and like I think moving is the easiest thing. So if you're feeling bogged down, just move. Just like find a new place to live. Yeah, just casual.
No, but it's true. It really does force you to reassess what you have,
Evaluate what's necessary.
Yeah. And it's so funny, Alex, I have to say too, because I talk a little bit about minimalism through my newsletter sometimes and things like that. And I always get emails from people who like sort of guiltily admit to me that they're like, well, I have like 50 D&D books and like I have 1,000 D&D minis. And I always feel so bad because it's funny because going back to sort of this principle of as long as you're getting value out of it, it is minimalism. And I always try to reassure people like that. I'm like, oh no, I'm not saying, get rid of the books that you enjoy having as long as you've thought about whether you really want it or not. That's the only thing that matters. So it's the mindless accumulation of stuff that was starting to get me down. But I mean, like I have a shelf of books and I could have more clothes. I'm just lazy. And, so I don't think that your craft room is on a bad track at all. It sounds like you have every intention of using that stuff, or it inspires you into ideas. And that's great. That's what's good.
It just needs to get that. We need to do the next step. We need to finish them. We need to get them done. So yes, that I agree. I can see where you're coming from. You can't see this room, but you would not think that seeing this room because the door is shut most of the time. And since we are all familiar on this podcast, my hashtag ADHD means that this room does not exist in my head if I cannot see it. So I never remember that this room exists except for Tuesdays when we record our podcast. And I look around, I'm like, man, I wish there was an adult in here that like picked it up for me or like told me what to do next. And I need a mirror because I am that adult. I need to do it. But, that's fine.
Bit, but
that's fine. But I like the idea of minimalism. I do think, if it doesn't make you happy, if it doesn't bring you joy, if it's not being used, whether it's once a year or it's just something to bring you inspiration, like a D&D module that's just sitting on your thing, maybe you use it. And if you are feeling guilty, then use it. Like if you feel it, play it. And if you're like, yes, I still should keep it, then keep it. And if you don't, then, somebody else I'm sure is willing to take that off your hands.
Very true. And it's hard to find the distinction sometimes between a sentimental thing that's actually burdening you and then something that you want to keep because it adds to your identity or your plans or your creativity. So that's always really tricky. Like getting rid of sentimental things, for example, is like books. Like I have a couple books that I'll always hold on to. And, like one of them is the Dungeon Master's Guide for 3rd edition D&D. And you would think as a minimalist, you're like, well, I don't need that book. No one runs 3rd edition anymore. That's from forever ago. But I hold on to that book because it reminds me of where I started and it has sentimental value and it kind of gives me some confidence as a DM. So like that book, of course, I'm actually probably never going to use it again, except just to look through it occasionally to go down a nostalgia trip. But I keep stuff like that because it does have a certain kind of value. Sometimes it's hard to concretely state or put into words what something's value is, but if it inspires you or it helps you with your identity, then it's totally worth keeping,
Yeah. I think it's just find that balance of why is it, inhabiting your space? Is it something that you do love? Is it something that makes you happy? And this is where I get hung up on, is it something that I feel like I'm keeping because it's the social norm, or it's because somebody thinks I should have it, or, you know, it's other societal or familial influences on my life. And so moving into the place that we are, I've had to go through it a couple of times of like, is this something that I feel that me, Alex, loves? Or is it something that I feel I have because I feel guilty, or, you know, somebody gave it to me and I have a like problem getting rid of gifts that have been given to me because, you know, if it was given, then I want to honor it. But, you know, it's not that those things aren't cherished in my life. It's not that I can't remember them, but sometimes we don't need to keep everything. But I do have a funny story about keeping things for way too long. So Michael, my lovely spouse, he gave me an 18th birthday present when we were in college, and I kept it. We were not dating. We can go down this memory lane. So Michael and I met in 2007, and we did not get married until 2015. But in 15, we started dating in February and then got married in May. So it took us that long to get into any sort of relationship and serious commitment. But after that commitment was like made, we immediately got married. But I have that gift that he gave me. And then he told me he liked another girl, and I was devastated. Like 18-year-old Alex was so sad that the love of her life, because I had a super big crush on him, liked somebody else. But I was like, okay, I guess we can be friends. But I have it, and I pulled it out when we started to date, and I was like, do you remember giving this to me? And this man of mine looked me dead in the face and said, I don't remember giving that to you.
Oh no.
Oh.
No.
So I have it in a shadow box with all of our like first wedding stuff, but it's there. But
That's so, at least you remember, you know. Oh, that's so funny. It is weird, right? How people's different perspectives ascribe value or not to certain things, you know? So that's so funny. Oh my gosh.
I know. I've been in love with him since 2007.
big
He
old
could have asked
nerd.
me at any point. I would have been like, yes, let's go. Would that have been a healthy relationship? Absolutely not. And we have grown a lot. But if you had asked 2007 Alex if you were going to marry Michael McKinnon, I'd been like, hell fucking yes, I am. Whether
Aw.
I knew what that meant or not was a different story.
I love that though. That's really cool. That was a very much like you knew type story, you know, like the love at first sight story.
Oh my God. He had the like Justin Bieber hair. Remember, like before it was too shaggy, it was just like a little swoopy, or like Zac Efron.
Like combed forward.
Yes.
Yep. Perfect. That's an era that will always stay in my memory. That like 8-year span of like the forward combed hair, you know?
Yeah. The now upper middle age lesbian hair. We love it. We stan
Love
it.
it. Yes, exactly.
Adrian had that hair.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is blasphemy. It's because I didn't care what my hair looked like. It was just naturally shaggy, and just I had to get it out of my eyes. It wasn't like intentionally like it's the norm. Of course I'm gonna do it. It's like I don't have a preference. I'm just gonna swoop it to the side. I still have that
Nice.
mentality, unfortunately, because I haven't got a haircut in a while.
I haven't either. I'm because I have very long hair, and I mean, not like very long, but now it is because
Yeah.
I haven't gone and got it cut for forever because, you know, it's just I'm in a situation in which it's not worth the risk. I see my parents often and help them out with life stuff, and so I'm just like, you know, I'm not gonna. There's no real reason for me to do it, but it's been really weighing heavily on me proverbially and actually lately because my hair is so long now.
Yeah,
I feel that half of my hair is blonde, so I have like the Cruella de Vil look. I've only gotten one haircut. The last time I got a haircut in October because it's like the blonde part is just falling out, right? The ends of it are dry. They just chip off. And that was the only time. I wasn't going to do it, but my mom, you know how moms are. But I can't justify it now that I'm home and I don't have, somebody yelling at me because my hair looks awful. I can't do it. There's just no reason to get that close to somebody. And for something like getting your hair cut.
Right. I keep thinking the same. Like, I'm like, well, okay, like an annual physical or something. Yes, that's for your health. Like, that's important. Try not to skip that kind of thing. But my hair, I'm like, I can't justify. Like, what if you got sick from that? I would be kicking myself for having taken that risk for what I don't think is a worthwhile outcome, for getting sick. So everyone's got to make those decisions, I guess, for themselves. Like I have another sister who would rather die than go, 3 months without getting her hair cut. And to her, it's so important to her identity. So I'm like, you do you. I'm going to sit over here looking like a cave person until this is all over. So.
Oh boy. I looked like that. Exactly. Cave person here. And I'm trying to I work with older individuals and young kids. So I felt bad, this shaggy man, just okay, these are the lessons for the today, and I'm just hair popping out of the hat, it just, the hat can't even contain it. The hair is literally pushing the hat up. It just won't sit on my head anymore.
Adrian, are we in man bun situation?
Not yet.
Man bun territory? Okay.
No.
Ooh. Are you going for that though? Because that is another level up potential there.
I had it for a time back in, I want to say 2017 or 2015. I just remember I would just knot it in the back of my work hat, and my supervisor like, "Why do you have girl hair?" I'm like, "I just didn't cut it.
Oh, no.
Chill out."
You're like, broaden your horizons, supervisor. This is trendy.
Yeah.
I know that everybody knows exactly what you look like, but I think the man bun, maybe low pony.
Low pony. I'm not a fan of the low pony, to be honest.
Well,
low pony.
Yeah, like a low. I don't know. I don't think it'd be bad. I think you could rock a man bun, or a bun, if we will, just a bun.
Just a bun.
Yeah,
bun.
A sock bun. You should definitely do a sock bun. Just beautiful, poised on top of your head, like a ballerina.
Just a Cinnabon.
Perfectly symmetrical with the
yes.
socks. Yeah.
I should get the shoes
I hadn't
to
seen
match.
one of those. And then I saw someone take a sock bun out of their bun, and I was like, "That's your secret,"
Yep. It is. Yep. That was my professional look when I was a substitute teacher forever ago. My hair was just short enough, and my hair is super thick, so it was just short enough that I could have it in the sock bun, and it looked like it was supposed to be there. At this point, we all know, my hair is long, like yours is, Kelsey, and if I put my hair in a sock bun, even if the sock was like a normal thin baby sock, it would be bigger than my head. It would just be a crown of hair on top of my head.
Me too. We're in the same. Yeah, we're disqualified now from sock bun until we can rein it in a little bit.
Figure out the situation.
Yeah. Oh man, what a time to be alive.
Who knew we were going to get to experience this and figure out what kind of personal grooming was required to survive versus what we thought we needed.
I know, this is like minimalism in action. We're testing the limits here. We're learning where the boundaries are of what we can do.
Oh man, you need to teach the course right now. This is the time. Online course of you're already doing it, so let's just take it one step further.
Yeah, you're already making sacrifices every day. Surviving in discomfort. I know. Although I feel like, Marie Kondo is just the queen. Nobody can best her. She's just the icon of minimalism. And
we need to get you a Netflix show.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
That's how she rose to power, because that book's been out forever. But nobody knew about it until we could see it and not have to read anything, because who reads anymore?
Right, I know. And she's so delightful in person. She's just one of the most delightful people to watch in action. She's just her physical presence of her standing there is calming, I need to rewatch that series now. I think the time is right.
I agree
Yeah.
with that sentiment.
And then all of the glorious memes about this does not bring you joy, and they're like, throwing something through a window or setting it on fire,
I love that too.
Or I remember my D&D players, when they would crit something and kill it, they would be like, "You do not bring me joy," would be their final lines.
Awesome.
Oh man. Okay, so real question on the minimalism. Okay, I know everyone's dying to hear this. How many dice sets do you still own?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a fun question. So 4.
That's
Yes,
it?
that is it. And one of them is a decorative set that I don't actually use, so I only have 3 sets of dice that I actually use, which is madness. I know. I feel like that's like, because D&D is my job, and that's like a professional golfer being like, I have 4 golf balls. Like I go find them in the woods when I lose one because I only have 4. But dice creep was such a problem for me. Like I had bags and bags of dice, and I ended up donating them to like schools with D&D programs because they needed them, and I was like, this is my Achilles heel, is too many dice. And I've only ever I really don't find that having 3 sets has been a problem for me since then. I get along with just 3. It's pretty cool.
So what does your decorative set look like? Because I know with this conversation, they have to bring some sort of either joy or sentimental value. So what are the 4 sets? I guess starting with decorative. Are they just they're just there?
That's a great question, because you're right. The decorative ones are the ones that are kind of sentimental. So they are, I believe they're from Norse Foundry, and they're a set of dice that came in this like blue metallicized coffin, and they're like blue sort of iced dice made out of metal with silver numbering, and it's like a rune looking numbering. And they were the convention dice for GaryCon of this past year that got canceled because of COVID. So they're kind of they're such a cool, like, the people who got badges to the convention, some people were able to get a set of these dice. And because I love GaryCon so much, I wanted some kind of memento for not having been able to go this year. And so I got those dice, and I think they're beautiful, and I love looking at them. And they're metal, and they clack really loudly, and they're just nice.
Okay.
And then the regular dice, I have 3 sets of plastic dice. One is the Chessex, like, standard dice. One is white with black numbers, red with black numbers, and white with black, or then a black set with white numbers. And they're just honestly super easy to read, and you can roll them on any surface without denting it. And I like them.
Okay, sorry, I had to look it up. I didn't know what GaryCon was.
Ooh, it's awesome. If you guys ever
It's in Wisconsin. Like,
yes.
What?
Yeah, in the birthplace of Dungeons and Dragons in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Nice.
We will have to. We will find a way. We will find
Oh,
a way.
yeah.
We'll see what it's all in March.
I know, and it's so sad because this upcoming one is canceled yet again. Just because it's there is a light at the end of the tunnel now, but it's still a little too close. So I think that 2022 will be our year, but the con itself is exploding in popularity every year. So it's kind of going from being this, a couple thousand attendees, but it's now getting really crazy. And like Wizards of the Coast has a presence there now very strongly, and like a lot of really cool up and coming game designers. It's very role-playing games focused, and very like D&D offshoot, and then D&D itself focused. So that's why I really love it, because it's just very centered around my favorite kinds of gaming. So it's totally cool.
That is our 2021 goal, Adrian, is to go to this.
Well, 2022 goal.
I'm sorry, yeah.
2021 goal is to get a presence, to get a booth or something. We talk, and we can just talk to you, and that's what we offer, is talking.
Just chatting. That's a good, just gaming chats. But
exactly. Commodity.
Hey, if you guys come to GaryCon, we're gonna have to actually hang out in person then.
That's fine by me.
Easily.
I will be a better human, I hope, by then.
I'll cut my hair by then, I promise.
I know. I won't look like a caveman.
I'm not making that promise. I'm gonna have just all the way down like that.
Yes.
All the way down. I can't. It's bleach, girl. It's bleached. Yeah.
Oh, I was just laughing about how you called it Cruella de Vil hair, and in my mind, I was like, awesome.
It's split right down. Okay, so like the hair journey has been a long time of figuring out what is my look. And I've had all sorts of colors. I've had all sorts of things. I've had red and I've had black. I've had all the shades of brown. I've done the white blonde when it was like I had super short hair and I had the white blonde and like it was cute. But I just remember seeing one of the YouTubers I used to watch. She like off-centered it. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like I can see it looks good. And then I just started to go down the Instagram rabbit hole of what split hair looks like. And I was like, ooh, but like, what if I did that? And fortunately, I was in a position where it didn't matter what my hair looked like. So one day I took, my day off and I spent 4.5 hours at the salon and we got my hair from brown to blonde and then added a purple. So it was purple and my natural hair color for a while. But then, being a teacher, that's got to be somewhat normal. So we kept the blonde and it's been fine. So I love it. It's not a great blonde. Mm-hmm. It's not, my hairstylist would definitely be very disappointed in the way it looks right now, but it's not bad. It's not great.
Oh, that's one thing I'm dreading is like walking in and her being like, what have you done? And I'm going to have to be like, I'm sorry.
I didn't want to get you sick.
Yeah, I was trying to be conscientious and now you have a real big problem on your hands to fix,
Oh man. So yeah, we will look. Anybody wants to join us for 2021?
22.
Let's get it. Start 20. I'm sorry, 20. I'm still in 2021. Like I'm still there.
You're still doing the still writing the 0 and then scratching in the 1 kind of thing going on.
I haven't written it. Oh no, I lied. I wrote it on a PowerPoint today. My kids yelled at me. Yeah.
Teacher, you're being silly.
Yep. My calendar also says like Sunday, January 12th because I wasn't paying attention. And so I asked my students what today was, and a lot of them responded Sunday. And I was like, where did you get that? And I was like, oh, yeah, that was my fault. My bad. You were looking where you should.
They knew the answers. Look at our American education system. Look at what's going on.
I was tricking you all. This was a test.
Oh, man.
So
2022. 2020.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
GaryCon, let's do it.
Let's make it happen, Captain. I'm going to go to a question we have from a viewer and a guest that we've had on. Skylar, the Dungeonologist.
I'm so flattered that someone wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, no, I knew. I told him who was my upcoming guest, and he was like, oh, "When are you gonna talk to Kelsey?" I'm like, "Well, okay, and I don't know. I gotta wait. Everybody's busy this time of year." Okay, where is it?
Hi, Kelsey. I'm friend of the podcast, Skylar the Dungeonologist. Do you ever prep analog or just digital?
Ooh, I've tried both, and I do a mix, honestly. I usually, for ideas, I always like to handwrite out ideas, and I don't know if that's just because we grew up in the era where pencil and paper were still kind of the main way, but I have a notebook and I do a lot of writing little notes and doodling and scratching things out, and then I'll usually take that and turn it into something cleaner that I put online, primarily so that I can access it from anywhere, which right now isn't that big of a deal, but it used to be that I would, sometimes be trying to look at my game notes from a different device, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we all kind of run games online, and so having it on the same screen can be extra handy then for that reason.
Yeah, okay, and here's the follow-up to that.
If you do, what kind of stationery do you use?
Skylar is very pen and paper. He loves all the stuff, all the different types of pencils and everything. So that's
a man after my own heart.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes, this is cool. I mean, so I've had a little bit of an awakening about paper, especially recently. Honestly, just by talking to some people in the D&D community, someone actually saw a picture of a notebook I was using, and they were like, "How can you stand to use paper of that quality?" And I was like, "What?" You know. So then I went on this like learning journey about paper quality, and I actually now use. So there's a company called Baron Fig that makes notebooks, and they have one that they did in collaboration with a writer named James Clear, who wrote a very excellent book called Atomic Habits. And I have the James Clear by Baron Fig hardback notebook with dot grid. And the paper quality, I actually have to check what it is, but it's good enough that you can't see through. There's not a lot of bleed from the thing on the other side, which was the goal of getting better paper. So
Gotcha.
that's what I have.
Awesome.
So it's Baron Fig, like the title of a person, not bear as in the animal that you may sleep with
Who is on
in a
top
teddy
of a
form.
fig.
Right, you're right. Yeah, it's Baron, like the noble title, and then Fig, all one word. So it's Baron Fig, all one word. And it's this notebook, like we definitely need a sponsorship on your podcast. But it has like a lot of just really nice stuff. It has like a table of contents, which I really appreciate, and the pages are numbered, so you can say, at the front you can say page 28 is where I have my notes about, the Cimarron campaign. And then at the very back it has a little habit tracker, which is so great.
That's cool.
It's like a grid where you can write in habits, and then it gives you like every day of the month, and then you can check off whether you did your habit that day. And the habit tracker got me to incorporate flossing every day into my actual routine. So victory,
Nice. That's
We
good.
stand a healthy gum system.
Yeah, we
I
do.
know. I was like, hey, I gotta get on this flossing every day thing, and of all the various of all the various habits I've tried to incorporate, that one stuck. So
At least it was that one. We could have, it could have been a not a flossing level habit. So
right,
that's super cool.
Maybe...
No, go for it.
Oh, I was just laughing. I'm like, maybe I can aspire to slightly more difficult ones. Like taking a walk every day or something.
Getting up when your watch buzzes at you because you're either too stressed or it's time to get up. Listening
Yes.
to those. Yeah, I got that. What kind of pen do you use? The Baron Fig pen, or do you have a specific pen that you like?
Oh, yes, again, I have this pen. Was a gift from my wife that I got like 4 years ago, but it is the Pilot Vanishing Point fountain pen. It's a matte black fountain pen with a click on it, and it is actually the only pen that I own. And when I have to write on something that doesn't accept fountain pen ink, which is pretty often, I look like a complete a-hole. I have to borrow a pen from someone.
This
So maybe
doesn't
I
work
should
with
buy
my
another
pen.
Yeah.
Excuse me, do you have better quality paper?
I know. Like signing a receipt or something, like you need a certain normal because the texture of the paper. And so, yeah, I should probably get like a more
Like,
standard
just
pen.
one more pen, just one other pen.
Yeah.
Don't do
You
it,
gotta fix that
Kelsey.
problem.
It's a slippery slope.
Too minimalist. I know. Then I'll have 10 pens, and then I won't be a minimalist anymore. And,
The minimalist police
Oh,
come
man.
to your door and ask for your license back.
Yeah, I take away my powers, like in Scott Pilgrim. If
It's
you ever
ex-
saw that, the
Yes.
vegan police.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yes. Oh man.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
we're gonna go down another rabbit hole because you did say fountain pen. Like, is it how fountainy is this pen? Can you just do beautiful script? Is that how you normally write, or is it just like Harry Potter where they just happen to use like a quill and it's just like normal kid handwriting?
Oh yeah, it's probably more Harry Potter handwriting because it's. I mean, I have no artistic skill or ability in my handwriting. I'm afraid for someone to analyze my handwriting because they'd be like, "Well, there are a lot of things wrong with you." But it's really nice to write with. Honestly, the reason I like fountain pens is because you don't have to use a lot of pressure with your hand when you're writing, and if you write a lot and you take a lot of handwritten notes, that actually can make a huge difference in hand fatigue, which I've actually gotten. I've actually gotten hand fatigue before from writing with pens. So that was my actual main reason for getting a fountain pen, and it's easier to replace the ink cartridges or to use a refillable cartridge without generating a lot of waste. So that was another benefit, and ever since then I've really gotten used to it, and I still, I still look like a fourth grader when I'm writing in my notebook, but now it's with a nice pen. So,
But no, I can absolutely see. So I'm a tight pencil pen gripper. So I have like a permanent indention on my hand, my finger, from where I used to grip my pencil in high school and elementary school and all of those. So like I can I don't know. You guys can't see it because this is a podcast. I'm doing a really good job explaining my finger malformation.
Her hand is actually just sticking out of the camera right now. We're all looking at it at our various points of location.
Yeah, but it's like okay. So my middle finger, the like top knuckle part, right above it, there's like a permanent callus. Like it's never gone away because I don't write as much as I do now, or when I was in high school. And it's still obvious, and that's honestly how I tell my right from my left.
nice. That's awesome. You earned it by writing, and now it helps you.
The anxiety as a child has paid off.
There you go. And so, Alex, do you use like a standard? Do you use what would be considered a standard pencil or pen grip, or do you have like your own version?
No, I have a standard. So like lays across your finger like you would a chop, like the bottom part of your chopsticks.
Okay.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. So if like you were holding your chopsticks by your knuckle, because I think I hold chopsticks with my fingers, but if it was to like, rather than your fingertips holding it, if you just pushed it up a little bit, that's how I hold my pen. It's a normal pencil. I just like gripped it so tight because I guess I was terrified of writing incorrectly or whatever. But yeah, I used to just like squeeze the hell out of my pencil, and now I'm growing the habit of not absolutely just jamming down when I write. So part of that was like I would only write on one side of the paper because otherwise it would just like it would be crinkly basically.
Oh,
If you wrote on both sides. Yeah, it was it's fine. I'm fine.
Those poor pencils.
I hate it. Yeah. But yeah, I use an Inkjoy. I love my Inkjoys. They're nice, smooth, and I like the finest, whatever, 0.05.
Oh yeah, me too. I love the really fine point because you can get so much, you can write like tiny, tiny, tiny subscripts if you like got too excited and wrote a huge sentence and you got to add to it, So
yeah, I'm here, but I'm definitely probably going to be a fountain pen. That may have to be a purchase on my list of things to purchase that we talk about our guests with, because I'm here for a good pen situation, especially it being refillable. It would be nice to just have one pen instead of 16,000 pens, but
yeah, and then you kind of come to treasure it, You're like, this is my pen. Like, I had somebody I didn't know kind of pick. This is so bad. I was at a meeting when I was not a writer. I was employed in other ways, and I was in a meeting, and I had my pen with me, and this dude who I was already not getting along with because he was causing a lot of trouble for my team snatched my pen up off the table without asking me, and like, this is like a precious thing to me. It's the only pen I own. My wife gave it to me. Like, I've written like so many important things to me with it. And he went over to a wall where there was a piece of paper hanging that had like some thing and like, yeah, like some sign on the door with like the Wi-Fi password. And he held my pen upside down and scratched into the wall with the tip of this pen. And like, fountain pens have gold plating on the tips of the nib so that because it's a kind of a non-rusting metal. And I was just like, I could feel my like, I'm not an angry person. I don't get mad often, but I could feel like the blood vessels in my head like pounding, and I was like, he's writing with my pen upside down into plaster, like, and I was like, you should give me my pen back. Like,
he's dead now, right? Is this how you're coming out?
Yeah, he's dead to me. Yeah, no, but It was funny how painful that was to see take place because you really you get attached to things, you know?
Well, yeah, and I can see where something you're a writer, so that's your like instrument of choice through this world. So that is whatever is the best representation, of you. Maybe not, but it could be.
No, I agree. I
And
think it is. Yeah, it's like my ultimate tool, you know?
and your significant other, who I assume you love and you care about and you picked to, walk the rest of this hopefully existence together. And I don't know if you guys know who are listening, fountain pens are not cheap. It's not like it was like a $2 pen at Walmart. So there was a
Right, yeah.
significant amount of money that went into, it's not like thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, please
No,
subscribe to our
no.
Patreon.
Yeah, don't go crazy with the pens. Don't go crazy. But like a nice pen, one that you'll use your whole life, it's certainly not as expensive as an iPhone, but it's not as cheap as a I don't know, a burrito, you know?
Yeah. So I could absolutely see he would be dead to me. He would be dead. No, I don't think he would be dead to me. I think he would literally be dead.
All right, before we
It's
commit any more
yeah.
crimes, Alex.
What? I didn't kill anybody.
We only threatened. No, we didn't actually do anything.
No.
See,
There were
my
no
thinking
plans.
was no plans, nothing written because he took the pen, so it was all mental.
He gave it back. I kind of strangled. I was like, "Can I have my pen back, please?" And he gave it back, and I was like, "Thank you." And I just put it away.
It sounded like that was really tough to just muster out in general for you.
It was hard. It was, and I look back on that, and I'm like, that's probably the closest I've ever been to being rude to somebody in public because I'm from Wisconsin. Like, rude gets programmed out of you. Like. We would rather die than not wave at somebody we don't know on the street when they wave back. And so it was, yeah, that was me at peak Hulk right there.
Amazing.
I just love that mental picture that I get of like just the movie scene of like, can you just give me my pen back? And like, it's with threat, but it's not that threatening. So it's not like super dramatic, but knowing the backstory of, yeah. And then you have to come to the realization of like, okay, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's just a pen. And I sort of freaked out about a pen.
Right.
But then you add back on all those layers and it's fine.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm a minimalist, stuff shouldn't matter. But I was like, no. And like, when I tell you I heard that nib scratching into the plaster upside down, oh my God, I almost leaped across the table, but I didn't. So.
Do you ever wonder if he just feels dumb for using that kind of pen? Like he just was like, what the fuck is this? And just didn't want to own up to it?
Yeah, he looked confused about why I wasn't dispensing ink. It's because he had it upside down. So I was like, he just then rather than try to fix it, he just scratched harder, and then I kind of lost it a little bit. So
Big
oh
yikes.
man, I don't know, Adrian. Do you have a writing implement of choice, or are you pretty flexible with that?
I lose a lot of things all the time. Whatever's in front of me is my writing utensil. Empty, like my ex-roommate gave me a bunch of like disposable pencils, the mechanical, and it was like a 30 pack.
yeah.
And she said like, I'm not gonna use all of them. I'm like, okay, and I've had them for like 4 years now, and I still haven't gotten rid of all. They're just like floating in different like storage containers, and they just exist in my life now forever.
Nice. That's so worldly of you. You're like, I'll just pick up whatever I have in front of me and start writing with it, you know?
Yeah, that's essentially what I am. I'm
It's very flexible.
very brute. Oh, this works.
That will serve you well in life, I think.
I really hope so. I had something that was like when you said like somebody, like something that was precious to you. It was like the first dollar I ever had that I made from playing music, and it wasn't like I'm a musician. It was like I had my ukulele and I was playing around campus, and someone gave me $1, and I kept it inside of the ukulele. But my sister took it out and then mixed it in with her dollars. And then, but she was like 7, so she didn't know. She's just like, why is there money in here? It's mine now.
No.
But I got really mad, and she didn't understand, and I was like, I I don't know how to tell you this. There's like a lot of inspiration behind it, and like I was never gonna use that dollar, but like I wanted that dollar, and I'm like, she's like, it doesn't. Why are you mad? And she started crying, so I'm like, I gotta get past this because it's gone now.
Oh, you're a better person than because you actually were like able to like not, you were able to get over it. Like
I have to. I mean, it's not like this McAsshole. I don't know what his name was, but who did the thing and just like, whatever is my pin now. Oh, it don't work. You try harder. Ideology. I don't know why he sounds like that, but
that was accurate. Actually, that is.
And then, but it's my little sister, and she's young and she has a reason. So, and I have to live with her for the rest of my life. So I have to get over it.
Yeah, you have to like not traumatize her because she'll remember it. You're like, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Exactly.
I can see, Adrian, that you are not a big sister because that's absolutely not how that would have gone down with my little sister.
Would you have fought her or something?
Oh yeah, she would have been dead.
No.
Absolutely.
Why is everyone dead in your life? Why am I still
would have
alive?
done something in return. Yeah, easily. That big sister, little sister energy.
What's that age difference for you, though? Mine's like 7 years.
It's 7. If I said, now that I say that out loud, it makes it sound like I should have been more mature with the little sister stuff.
You should have, but
it's still little sister stuff. Like I still roll my eyes sometimes when she talks. Like, she's got that little sister energy. It's too much.
Oh, she does that too. She's like, but what about this? And my little sister's way smarter than me. She is super smart. So I'm like, I just gotta be real crass about this and not care that she's smart about and she's right.
You just gotta like take it stoically and be like, that might be a good opinion, yes.
Mine's like, yes, that is a good opinion. But also, I don't care. And then just walk away. We get childish very easily.
That's the ultimate, like, I'm out of the conversation. Be like, oh, well said, but I don't care. And then you just like lean back into the bushes like in that Simpsons
Yes,
meme,
exactly know what you mean. I love that you're speaking in memes. It's my language, okay?
We're totally getting each other with these memes, yes.
Oh my gosh, I've held back a couple memes because I didn't know. I'm like, that's too nerdy. Let's not. Now I know.
I would like to, at this moment, request that we add another love language for the millennial generation, and it is indeed memes. I think memes needs to be a love language, and mainly applied to people born of this generation.
Oh yeah. It's the primary way that I apologize to my wife, like ask for things, like finding the perfect meme to communicate your feelings is like an art form.
That's
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I feel like I could keep talking forever with you, Kelsey. You're a hoot.
Oh my gosh, you guys are too. This was so fun. It's nice to get to talk to people and not be in my room with my hair.
Well,
just
with
sitting here in the dark. No, I'm not that creepy usually.
Not usually. You play D&D, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of sitting in rooms like making things up in our heads, so.
Just ever get that inspiring idea and just like, I gotta write this down, but I'm in like traffic and I don't have my pen on me. Well, that's me. I don't know if you have your pen on you.
Then I'll just try to scream at Siri to be like, make a reminder that the orc actually climbs the wall and comes in through the roof.
Hell yeah. But it's been a blast. Alex, I'm sorry. No. I'm cutting this short.
No, don't. No. We gotta go up to Wisconsin. We've got a date.
We do in 2022.
Yeah, good long. That's right. GaryCon next year. We will resume our talk. We had a good long talk, and I really appreciate you guys bringing me on to chat and ask me about my pen and stuff. It's very flattering when people want to know things like that. So I appreciate you asking.
Yeah, no worries.
You are more than welcome to join us anytime. You're like, I just want to talk about D&D and random shit. Like, just message. Be like, hey, can we just talk?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. And same to you. Always feel free to message, email, whatever, and it's always fun to chat. And Adrian and I were talking a little bit before we organized to do this podcast, and it was a delightful conversation then as well. So
Shucks.
I just love it. I love hearing from people, and let's do it.
All right. I appreciate that. I'm getting a little red in the face.
You took the compliment. I'm so proud of you, though.
It's working.
You did it.
It's working.
No. We're acknowledging your improvement.
I'm trying now. I have to work on acknowledging the acknowledgement. Now is this whole like slew of things.
The next level of uncomfortable is always coming at you.
Yes, truly. All right, Alex.
Well, thank you all for listening. Join us on our Patreon where we get to have conversations with you and we take your money. Just kidding. Never. That's not what happens. But no, if you are enjoying our podcast, please feel free to reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram. Help us keep this going with joining our Patreon. If not, if money is an issue, because it's 2021 and 2020 did not go anywhere. Share us with your friends and family. We would love to bring a little more joy into their lives in a weird and still dark time, but we're almost there, friends. We are almost to the end of this presidential thing, coup, whatever's happening.
Hopefully, when this episode comes out, that's not the case.
Ah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully we're all still here, future us.
Oh.
It's the last thing I just hit send on this podcast. Like, this is the last message.
Future Alex, enjoy Civil War II.
Oh.
All right, was that the end of it, or did we cut it short? I can always edit this
I
out.
think we talked about everything.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we're good.
Oh, whoa! One more thing, Kelsey. Do you need to plug anything?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, anytime for D&D adventures, if you want to scope out what I have, it's on my website, thearcanelibrary.com. I'm always publishing new stuff, and I hope that if you check it out, you find it useful and easy and fun.
All right. Well, thank you so much. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
Go have some fun.